Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I haven't done one of these before, but I do want to do a ramble/rant on some of the different ideas that have been bouncing around in my head and on paper for a while now. So just have a couple of things that I need to do videos on coming up, and yeah, we'll see where this takes us. So hopefully you're ready to bear with me. But a couple things actually. So first, my YouTube channel just hit 10,000 subscribers. So, thank you so much to all of you guys who like or enjoy my content enough to subscribe. Really does mean a lot. Secondly, I stole my wife's video camera. I've never used it before for videos, so I just wanted to kind of experiment with the video audio quality. And it's shooting at 60 frames per second, so this is going to be a massive file to upload. That'll be fun. And last, I don't remember. Moving on. Alright, so yeah, a couple different knives coming up I need to do videos on. The Monroe Warg here. Super lucky to score one of these direct. This is a Shane Atwood Freedom Fighter. This one's a liner lock, and was able to take this off of a buddy, so really appreciate that. The Kaiser Kala, which is a collaboration with Scott Matsuka out of Hawaii, old school knife maker. And then the Johnston Knives Navaja. Oof, so good. I've been really lazy about doing videos on the customs here. They're all one-off, so whether I get to it now or later is not a huge deal. The production knives that are currently available to everyone now, I think you guys value those a bit more in terms of like video content. But let me know if I'm wrong. I might have it backwards. Alright, so kind of the main topic, the thing that I wanted to hit on that's going to flow into the other things that I wanted to hit on is whether or not I am a reviewer. And let me explain. So, I do videos on knives, occasionally watches, wallets, leather goods, pens. I think I may have done a flashlight or two. Anyways, so I do videos where I share information. I feel like there's certain aspects of my videos that coincide with reviews. You might even call them reviews. But within my videos, there is always a degree of bias, because all this stuff is something that I'm passionate about. It's my hobby. It's hard to quantify or qualify every aspect of the way that we feel, or the way that an object makes us feel, or the way that we interact with it. And I think someone who does a really good job of trying to be as objective as possible is probably Anthony over at Everyday Commentary. And he creates a numeric system where he takes an object apart piece by piece and really tries to quantify how good or the quality or how valuable it is. As for me, it's, I point out the different parts, but the sum as a whole and how it makes me feel is ultimately what I share with you guys. That's the part that I find to be, that I'm passionate about. And I think a good example of that would be like the Spyderco Magnitude here. I did a video on this one, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And, to hopefully illustrate my point here, really, really nice knife, but there are a couple things that don't quite fit into line with like the, the overall presentation. Or let's talk about the pocket clip. So the pocket clip is pretty blasé. And a lot of you guys felt that way, and you felt like it was a huge letdown on such an incredibly built knife. And I'd agree, but I have a certain amount of bias towards Spyderco built in. I remember back probably about 5 years ago, when I first started getting into firearms, of course that transitioned me into knives. And I had a Tenacious, fantastic budget knife, and then I got an Endura, and then a Delica, and gosh, what else did I get? I got a couple others, all in the sub $100 range, and then, the Spyderco Gale Bradley one caught my eye, and it was like $130, $140 at the time. And I remember talking to my friend, I'm like, man, I really like this knife, Should I get it? It's kind of expensive. What do you think? And he was like, no, don't get it. It's too expensive. That's way too much for a knife. And I was like, yeah, but I really like it. And guess what I did? I bought it. And the knife blew me away. Going from like a Tenacious to a Delica up to a Gale Bradley one, I was like, holy crap, like this is what I've been missing. Like this is the next level in terms of fit and finish and action, and just everything about the knife just kind of blew my mind, stepping to that, after $100 mark. And I think it was that knife that kind of catapulted me into, all of this craziness, to where it's like, okay, a $280 Spyderco doesn't seem like a bad idea in the slightest. And my experience with Spyderco and the way that they make me feel and my history with them, that is a bias towards all their future products, And I try to point that out in my videos, but I'm probably not perfect at explaining that or illustrating that, but that's what passion to me is about. It's how does it make us feel? And that's my history with Spyderco. And the reason that I keep trying their products. The pocket clips, they suck, right? But they work and they're functional. And the pocket clips on the Endura and the Delica and the Tenacious, they were so much better than some of the other knives that I had. They function so well, and they still function well. They're just not as exciting as like a fully sculpted titanium or zirconium or whatever clip, right? So anyways, that's a bias that I have, that I try to point out. Another example would be like the Zero Tolerance 0392 series. I remember when I got the original 0392, I was at the gym. It was 6 in the morning, and I got an email from a company over in Netherlands, or whatever, Lamnia, that the 0392 was available. And this was several weeks before the 0392 released in the States. So I'm sitting there at the gym, in between sets, and it said it's available. I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting. So I clicked on it and I bought it, and I had it a couple weeks before anyone in the US had it. I think I was like the only one. I got really lucky because I was up at, an unnecessary hour, awake and alert. And that knife blew me away. I mean, the fit and the finish and the way that it fits in my hand, and just my experience with the 0392 series leaves me just coming back for more. I want to try every single one. They're not even that different, but it excites me. I really enjoy it, and so I keep getting, the different models of the 0392 series, and that's a bias, and hopefully I point that out to you guys. Regardless of my bias, it's a fantastic knife. All the things I talk about with it are true and, honest. And with every video that I do, essentially my reputation or my word is on the line. So you won't see me do a video where I talk about a knife being fantastic and then everyone else says that it's shit, right? That's not going to happen, even with my, self-proclaimed bias, because my reputation and my word means something to me, as it does to many of you guys, right? Whereas I've seen other videos that people have done where they talked about how great something was, and then the product came out and everyone said it sucked, right? It wasn't there was a lemon here or there, it was everyone across the board said it was a terrible, terrible product. And that's something that will never happen on my channel, right? That's how I feel about it. So anyways, there's a degree of bias, but it's tied into passion, to enjoyment, to enthusiasm for a product or a company. Something else that I was thinking about was on my video of the Custom Knife Factory, Ratata or Ratata, whatever the hell it is. I said in the intro that I don't buy crappy knives, and when I was watching the video just to see how it turned out, I was like, man, that sounded so incredibly arrogant, and hopefully you guys understood that I meant price, regardless of price, I don't buy crappy objects. And I think this is a great example here. This is the Kershaw CQC7K. I use it for all of my size comparisons in my videos, and it is a fantastic knife in the $35 to $40 range. Hell, I think this is a fantastic knife up to the $70 range. Regardless of price, I just go out of my way not to buy things that I think will be terrible or that I will dislike. And it goes back to, am I a reviewer or am I an enthusiast with a channel that really enjoys sharing things? And if I were a reviewer and I was more objective, then I would buy things. I would take things that I think I may not like to give it a fair shake. And I think again, Anthony does a great job at everyday commentary, but I do not have the time or the energy or the willpower to buy things that I will dislike, right? To quantify, I put an average of 3 hours into every video. So think about what you make in 3 hours. 1 hour, multiply that by 3, and that's how much time I have invested into each video, along with the cost of the object. Sometimes I'll sell them later, and I almost always take a hit, and I call it my rental fee. We won't tell my wife about that, but 3 hours, the cost of the object, between recording, editing, uploading, thumbnail, video notes, talking to the company or the maker about it, and trying to give you guys as much good information as possible. So with that in mind, hopefully it makes sense to why I go out of my way not to buy things that I think I would dislike, because then I have no real desire to do videos or to share it or any of those things. And that comes to, one of the criticisms that I heard, that he only does positive reviews, right? To where I'm just talking everything up, and it comes across as dishonest, but hopefully that makes sense to why I do positive reviews. I will nitpick things here or there, but if I think I dislike it, I simply won't buy it. My income, my time, my energy is all finite, just like any of you guys. So that's something that I wanted to address, something that irritates me when people are talking about my content, and hopefully I help put that into context a little bit. One of the other things, let's see here. I think that was pretty much kind of the primary rant I wanted to go on. One of the other things that I saw my name brought up with recently was in regard to people getting ripped off by custom makers, and somehow I have been promoting or endorsing makers that are ripping people off, and honestly, that's complete bullshit. If you guys listen to the podcast that I co-host, the Modern Neanderthal podcast at all, we have talked many, many, many times about not paying upfront or advance of work, be it knives, be it leather goods. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, never, ever, ever pay upfront or in advance completely. I'm even weary about doing 50% down payments, right? The maker or the person has to have a stellar, without question type of reputation for me to give them money ahead of time. I sent someone who's now disappeared, Alex Dietz, money probably 3 years ago to do a modification on a Spyderco Lacey Zabo folder, and he took my money along with many other people's money, and he has disappeared. So that was a very expensive lesson learned. So guys, I just want to put this out there that I unequivocally do not pay upfront for anything. Knives, home repair, car repair, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you have paid them all the money that they expect to get out of it, there is no incentive for them to finish. So I want to address that and make sure that I am crystal clear on the subject. The only knife that I have done a down payment for in recent history was this Monroe Warg, and Derek Monroe's reputation is absolutely stellar, and they were only asking for, I want to say it was like maybe 15% up front of the total knife. And I felt that that was fair, and I felt that his reputation was beyond reproach. And honestly, to all of you guys who think that you need to give people second chances, I disagree with that completely. If someone has already gone and ripped other people off or stolen from people before, there is no reason to deal with them ever again. Because there are so many good options of people who have never ripped people off, that why the hell would you be giving someone a second chance or a third chance, or think that they've somehow changed? There's a big whole drama with Nocturnal Knives. I don't know what the guy's name is, Gene or something. And apparently he took made a couple knives, sent a couple out, took a whole bunch of orders, ripped a whole bunch of people off, and disappeared. And going back in his history, he did the same thing 3 or 4 years ago. So, be very, very wary of ever giving anyone a down payment, especially more than 50%. Never do 100%. If they are an upstanding individual, they will work with you if you do not feel comfortable paying completely up front. If they say, hey, up front or nothing, walk away. Like, it is not worth getting ripped off. Whatever it is, even $50, right? It's not worth it. There's nothing out there that you need that bad to where you're willing to waste that money. So hopefully that I have been crystal clear on that. That is something that really pissed me off, because I don't like my name being thrown around like that, or my channel, or the quality of my content, or my reputation as far as promoting people who rip others off. So that really pissed me off. So that is the rant portion about prepaying for knives. There was the ramble portion about whether or not I consider myself a reviewer, and the answer is in part, but you know, I have my biases. So yeah, this is the first of a ramble / rant. I'll probably do more. I don't know, let me know what you guys thought. If there's any, thing that you guys think I can do better, let me know. How's the video, how's the audio quality on this versus my other videos, if you notice anything. But most importantly, something else I wanted to address is that, this is a hobby. As I mentioned, this is what I do to break up my 8 to 10 hour days. I go to the shows. It's a fantastic community, and 99% of the community is awesome. One thing that kind of irks me a little bit is when people get a little too into, like, how do I say this? People forget that this is a hobby from time to time, and they just get way too wrapped up in it. I've seen people get burnt out on the hobby, and instead of just walking away, taking a break, coming back later, they just let small things really start to irritate them. They kind of become a dick, right? The way that, they don't like when things are done this, and everyone who buys this is an idiot, or, don't open your knife that way because that's not the way it was intended. I mean, people just get really caught up on these small things, especially when they get burnt out on the hobby, but they don't have the tenacity to just walk away for a little bit, or go do something else or try different hobbies. So if you guys are feeling burnt out, take a break. Like, don't stick around and let every little thing piss you off, because then you're just going to grow to hate it more and more and more. And again, hobbies should be fun. So when I do giveaways, I always say thanks for being like a great community. Thanks for those people who remember that this is first and foremost a hobby. If you're not having fun, don't do it, right? I mean, however many freaking knives I have, I don't want to even tell you the number right now. It's kind of embarrassing. But, I don't need all of these things, but I like them. If it was just about what I needed, then, done, right? It's, in reality, this $35 Kershaw would be enough to take care of everything that you need. So, yeah, I don't know, thank you to all you guys who make this fun, who make this enjoyable, who create the amazing community that it is. If it wasn't for such a cool community of like good people, honest people, like, people who love this stuff, then I don't think 90% of us would be here. When I hear about those guys who collect in these, in these kind of like black holes that they can't talk about it at work, they can't show it, they can't do pictures, I'm in awe that they can even do it at all. So anyways, that's another rant, is people who forget that this is a hobby and, they take it way too serious. So anyways, I've covered a couple different things that have been on my mind or have been irritating me lately. Yeah, I'll probably do more of these. If there's anything in particular that you guys want me to do a rant or a ramble on, hit me up down below. Again, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching my content. If you stuck around to the end, then, brownie points for you. If you're not following me on Instagram, I put up content there if that's what you're into. I also do most of my giveaways on Instagram because it's an easier format to use. And yeah. But here's an upcoming giveaway for Instagram, so if you guys aren't following me there, follow me there. This is just like one part. I'm going to incorporate a couple other things too. So yeah, more videos to come. You guys rock. See you soon.